lovely story by the Brothers Grimm. Have you ever heard of the Brothers Grimm? They've written some very grim fairy tales, but also some of your favourites, like The Frog Prince, Hansel and Gretel, Rapunzel, The Elves and the Shoemaker, Rumpelstiltskin, which you've just heard, Snow White, you've just heard because Harriet read it to you. Anyway, today we have this very short one. It's called The Sweet Soup, and it's a crazy story, so listen to this. Once upon a time there was a poor but pious little girl who lived alone with her mother, and when my story begins they had nothing in the house to eat. So the child went out into the forest, and there she met with an old woman who already knew her distress, and who presented her with a pot which had this power. If one said to it, "Boil, little pot," it would cook sweet soup, and when one said, "Stop, little pot," it would immediately cease to boil. The little girl took the pot home to her mother, and now their poverty and distress were at an end, for they could have sweet broth as often as they pleased. One day, however, the little girl went out, and in her absence the mother said, "Boil, little pot." So it began to cook, and she soon ate all she wished. But when she wanted to have the pot stop, she found she did not know the words. Anyway, therefore, the pot boiled and very quickly was over the edge, and as it boiled and boiled, the kitchen presently became full, then the house, and then the next house, and soon the whole street. It seemed likely to satisfy all the world, for though there was the greatest necessity to do so, nobody knew how to stop it. At last, when only a very small cottage of all the village was left unfilled with soup, the child returned, and said at once, "Stop, little pot!" Immediately it ceased to boil. But whoever wishes to enter the village must eat his way through the soup. That sounds both lovely and a little scary. Now what we decided to do is, since last time Flimple took out 3 little cards from our pot, and we decided we would make our own little pot of soup. So we're going to use baby marrows and celery and flour. Flour we'll talk about just now. So we thought what we would make is a minestrone soup. Now minestrone in Italian means soup.
Soup.
So actually it's a soup. So what we're going to do, oh my goodness, look at that. That looks just like a monster. It's actually a soup ladle. Anyway, all you need to do is you get a giant pot, just like in the story. You chop up an onion and some celery and some carrot, and you fry it in a little oil until it's cooked. Then you add some potatoes and, oh, we've used that already. What else? I can't see. Yes, so all of that is then boiled for a little while. And once it's all a little bit cooked, we add some stock cubes and a tin of tomatoes and a tin of beans, and we boil it for about almost an hour, I would say, and you get a delicious soupy soup. And one of our favourite things to do to add to a minestrone soup as well is some pasta. Now,
Ooh, pasta.
Flimple has a very interesting little cousin called Domple.
Yes.
Who has planted some flour and is growing her own spaghetti.
Oh, my word.
So we thought we would see if we could go and find her and harvest some of her spaghetti. What do you think, Flimple?
Yes. It was a disaster at first, but now it's good.
Great. Now Flimple has brought some of Domple's spaghetti. So all you need to do is, once the soup is almost made, you crack this up into little bits like this. So you throw it in the soup, and as soon as it's cooked, your soup is ready, and you can enjoy it, and it's lovely, especially now it's got so cold and wintry. So I'll leave the recipe on Character Stories for Children Facebook page, so watch the YouTube page for more stories every day at 3 p.m. So we see you next time.